Guys, I'm gonna do my 3-day review with the DJI Mini 3. No, 3 days isn't a lot to review a drone like this. I'm going to anyway, and I'm going to do a 1 month and maybe even 3-month review. It look a lot different for DJI. December 23rd, they're being examined and might be banned from the US. Do that going into this purchase, but I wanted to enjoy a DJI drone for the last time, possibly, if they really do get banned, but still unclear if they are going to. And if they do ban DJI drones, it most likely will be just not being able to buy them in the US. You can probably still buy them from eBay and other places, like possibly Amazon. That's where I got this DJI Mini 3. Anyway, let's go further into the review. So just so you guys are aware, I have had the DJI Spark and the DJI Mavic Air 2, so I know quite a bit about DJI drones, and I know that this drone is probably 3 years old now, and I could have chosen, my other options were to get the Air 2 again, possibly save for the Air 2S, or get the DJI Flip. Yeah, I know that the DJI Flip has more features than the DJI Mini 3, but I really liked how the Mini 3 looked, and I like that as a vertical camera. I know that it doesn't have optical avoidance, but the big reason that I decided to get this over the Flip was because of the batteries. With the DJI Flip, they're rated at 31 minutes, or that's the most you can get. So realistically, it's like 26 minutes of battery life. This DJI Mini 3, you can get 51 minutes of battery life, which is a huge difference. I understand that the Flip can go further than the Mini 3, and it has a sensor in the front, whereas the Mini 3 doesn't have any sensors except the bottom sensors. Sorry, there's a bug in my eye. Going into this, yes, I really did want active track, and I wanted better range for this drone. I wanted hyperlapse really badly, and this doesn't have that, and also there's no active track features. I understand all the cons going into this purchase, but at the end of the day, the Flip's batteries were insanely expensive. Like, it was like $180 or something for one battery for the DJI Flip, whereas I got this Plus battery off Amazon. It's not even from DJI officially, but it's still 47 minutes of flight time. That was $52, which is a huge difference. So I didn't get the Air 2. I was about to pull the trigger on it, but I was like, it's a little older now. There's battery swelling problems. It doesn't have a vertical camera for YouTube Shorts. I really wanted that. Going with the Mini 3, I want to possibly do real estate, and I found that this would be a good fit, and I know the Flip would be a good purchase as well. But again, it looks like a toy. I don't like how it looks. The battery life is slightly worse, and also I heard that it's like very loud, and that the wind pushes it around a little bit more than the Mini 3, which was kind of shocking to me. But to spend a little bit more money and get the RC controller, because I think it's a big upgrade over the regular one, because I had the Air 2 at one point, and I had the regular, what is it called, the NC1 controller, I think, and not having to hook it up to my phone is kind of a big plus for me, and having the extra features that this has a nice bright screen. I like to be able to fly my drone and sometimes be on my phone at the same time, while also being very attentive to what the drone is doing. I'm not distracted when I fly, and I'm typically not on my phone, but I just thought it's kind of like a big deal breaker to not have this controller, so that's why I paid the extra for that. Now let's talk about the pros and cons of the Mini 3. Clearly, like, not having active track, right? Not being able to have any obstacle avoidance features, not even having hyperlapse is kind of a big deal. honestly. And another one that most people will be like, what? Like, what are you talking about? With the Flip, I did kind of want it too because of the fact that I could just fly it with my phone. And then about that, guys. So yeah, I was talking about active track, hyperlapse, not being able to have those. It's kind of disappointing. And I guess the transmission signal thing. Some of you guys are probably wondering, do I regret not getting the Flip over the Mini 3? Not necessarily, because truly this is what I could afford. This isn't going to be, if DJI doesn't get banned, then I'm gonna probably upgrade eventually to the Air 3S, or maybe even the Mini 5 Pro when that comes out, something like that. But this was just what I could, this is all that I could afford right now. Being straight honest, after everything, getting the 2 batteries and the remote and the drone, it was about $650 or $660 around there. You have to get an SD card for the controller. So yeah, it was probably like 660 or 670 after all of it. And honestly, that's what the Flip was at. And that was with the RC2 controller and the Flip and then the battery. But I have 2 batteries now with the Mini 3, so I got a better deal with the Mini 3. I also was punching myself because literally like 4 or 5 days after I purchased this, the Mini 3 went on sale to $319 for the regular NC1 controller. Again, I think that's what it's called. And then the RC one, I believe, was like $519 or $499. I can't remember exactly what price it was, but I was kicking myself for sure after that because that was a good deal. But I also found another deal. I mean, guys, I'm not even over exaggerating here. I was on eBay searching all the time to get the Mini 3 Pro at a good price, and I just couldn't find one for like less than $700, like $750 to $700, which isn't too bad. But again, it only came with 1 battery, and most of them came with a normal controller. But then all of a sudden I found a Mini 3 Pro after I bought this on eBay for like $600 with the RC1 controller and a battery. I was so mad. I was so angry, because I know that the Mini 3 Pro is obviously a much better drone, much more capable. It's like better than the Flip. So do I regret getting the Mini 3? I don't. I actually really like this drone. I know that it doesn't have as many features. I know that it doesn't go as far. I'll say that the furthest I've gone from my house, it's like a somewhat populated area, so like it's decently urban area, and the furthest I've gone is like 3,000 feet away, which is pretty good. I don't really know what that equates to in miles, but I mean that's pretty good, I feel like. So yeah, I mean, I do have some regrets. Would I recommend the Mini 3? If you're really trying to save money, then yes, I would. But if you can, try to find the Mini 3 Pro on eBay, even with 1 battery and a normal controller, not even this one. Just keep looking, and if you don't need to do vertical shooting, then even the Air 2S is good, or the Air 2 is good. I really liked my Air 2 at the time. It was a great drone. But I would compare this more to like the DJI Spark that I had, but man, this is way better than the DJI Spark. The DJI Spark was just not a good drone. It only got like 300 to 400 feet, and then it just like, it couldn't go any further than that. So this is definitely miles better than the Mini 3, or you know, the Mini 3 is miles better than the Spark. That's what I meant to say. But yeah, I mean, this has the same amount of miles as the Air 2, so it's really not that different. But the Air 2 came out in 2020, and I don't like getting older stuff. I mean, yes, the Mini 3 is a little older than a lot of newer drones like the Flip and the Mini 4 Pro and stuff, but you know, I think I did a good job buying this. I think one of the biggest reasons is because of the extra battery, and just because this looks a lot more like a, you know, professional drone than something like the DJI Flip. I was even considering maybe getting the Avata 2 at one point, or the Avata. I couldn't really afford the Avata 2, but the Avata I could have afforded. So to give a straightforward answer, like I said, look at the Mini 3 Pro, the Mini 4 Pro, the DJI, the Mavic Air 2, and even if you have the money, the Mavic Air 3S is such a good drone, I guarantee it. I mean, before deciding on this purchase, I flew with my friend's DJI Mavic Pro 2, and that kind of blew me away, honestly. Like, that's a good drone. The only big deal breaker for me is, again, it's older, and it has an even worse controller than, you know, the Air 2. So the Air 2 controller is now outdated, and it doesn't support this controller. If the Air 2 could support this controller, I would have I might have even bought the Air 2. And I wish the Air 2S had like the vertical camera, because that would have easily changed my mind. Because the Air 2 has more sensors, and it's a faster drone. It has all those features like active track and hyperlapse and all that. So, but like I said, with the Mini 3, I just wanted to save a bit of money, because who knows if DJI is going to be banned. We're just going to have to wait until December 23rd to see what happens, and hope and pray that DJI will still be able to send drones to the US to be able to, you know, manufacture them and then send them here. If not, I'm going to be really bummed, because, I mean, DJI is easily the best drone maker ever, and they're continuing to lead it every year. So yeah, we'll just have to see. But yeah.